This deep dive is powered by Growth Suite. Growth Suite helps you run smart discount campaigns on your store. Test it for free on your Shopify store. Just land on the Shopify App Store now and test it for free. You know that feeling when you see an online ad and it feels completely different from, say, the vibe in the actual store.
Oh, absolutely. Or maybe you get an email with a promo code.
Yeah.
And then you go to use it online and poof, it doesn't work.
Ugh, that's the worst. That kind of inconsistency, across all the ways you interact with the brand, website, app store, emails, it happens surprisingly often.
It really does. And, these aren't just small frustrations for customers. They can seriously chip away at the trust people have in a brand. And that impacts sales, ultimately.
Right. Like if the social media post promises one thing, but the website says something else.
Exactly. Instant friction.
Yeah.
It just feels off.
Well, that feeling, that disconnect, that's exactly what we're digging into today.
Right.
We're exploring the consistency principle in omnichannel marketing. Think of this as your shortcut to understanding why these unified experiences across all the touch points are just so vital for loyalty and, for the bottom line.
And for our exploration today, we're drawing on insights from a great article, The Consistency Principle in Omnichannel Marketing E-commerce Psychology by Mohammed Tufekhapan. It came out in March 2025.
Okay. So our mission for this deep dive is pretty clear. We want to get to the heart of this consistency principle. Why does it work so well with customers? And maybe more importantly, how can businesses like yours actually put it into action strategically?
Yeah, moving from just scattered marketing efforts.
To something cohesive, a single dependable customer journey.
Exactly. So where should we start? Maybe defining omnichannel and why consistency is key.
Perfect place. Let's kick things off there. What is the difference between, say, multi-channel and omni-channel?
Right. So the article explains it nicely. Multi-channel is basically just being present in different places. You've got a website, maybe social media, perhaps a physical store.
Okay, separate channels, like different roads to the same town.
Kind of, yeah. Separate roads.
Yeah.
But omnichannel, that's about integrating those roads, turning them into one smooth highway with lots of on-ramps.
Ah, okay. One continuous journey.
Precisely. And the consistency principle, that's what makes sure the experience feels the same. High quality, no matter which on-ramp you use to get on.
Gotcha. So it's not just being everywhere, it's about feeling the same everywhere.
Okay.
Makes sense. And the numbers back this up pretty strongly, right? The business case.
Oh, definitely. The data is quite compelling. Customers who engage across multiple channels, they tend to spend about 30% more.
30%. Wow.
Yeah. And get this, companies with strong omni-channel strategies see about 90% higher customer retention year over year.
90%. That's huge, not just a small bump.
It's a game changer. And it reflects reality. 73% of consumers use multiple channels when they shop. They expect that seamless movement.
So consistency isn't just a nice to have.
Not at all. It's fundamental for growth. It builds trust.
Trust, yeah, that keeps coming up. So consistency is the bedrock of that customer relationship.
Exactly. Think about it. Every time you have a predictable, reliable interaction with a brand across any channel, it reinforces your confidence in them. It builds that trust layer by layer.
Like the brand is implicitly promising we're reliable wherever you find us.
But here's the catch the article points out.
Ah, there's always a catch.
Well, yeah. Despite how important this is, only about 20% of businesses feel they have a very effective omni-channel strategy.
Only 20%. That's a surprisingly low number.
It is. There's a big gap between knowing it's important and actually delivering it. Customers today expect seamless transitions, phone to laptop to store, and they expect the brand to, know them across those shifts.
Okay, so we get that it's important for business, but let's dive a bit deeper. What's going on inside our heads? Why do we as humans value this consistency so much, the psychology of it?
Yeah, this is fascinating. Our brains are basically pattern detectors. We love patterns. Predictability. So when we interact with a brand across different places, our brain tries to build a consistent picture. If things are inconsistent, the message changes. The look feels different. It creates cognitive dissonance.
Cognitive dissonance, that uncomfortable feeling when things just don't add up.
Exactly that. It's like trying to fit puzzle pieces together that clearly don't belong. It feels wrong, unsettling.
Yeah, I get that. And it links back to trust, doesn't it?
Directly. Trust is built on predictability. Every consistent interaction is like a little confirmation. Okay, I can rely on this brand. It builds confidence over time. The article notes that a unified presence makes customers significantly more likely to trust a brand.
Predictability equals trust. Simple but powerful. What about expectations? How does that fit in?
Expectation theory is key here. Basically, we feel satisfied when our experience meets or, ideally, exceeds what we expected.
Makes sense.
Now, think about inconsistency. Maybe you have a great website experience, but then the in-store visit is, well, terrible.
Oh, yeah. That's jarring.
Right. Even if the average experience is okay, those inconsistent highs and lows can lead to overall dissatisfaction. Sometimes, a consistently adequate experience is actually better for long-term satisfaction than a roller coaster.
That's a really interesting point. Steady and reliable beats flashes of brilliance followed by letdowns.
Pretty much. And then there's behavioral economics. We humans generally dislike uncertainty.
I do.
Inconsistencies create a kind of mental switching cost when moving between channels. We have to pause, reevaluate, figure things out again. Consistency reduces that mental effort, makes it easier to just keep going with the brand.
So less mental friction makes the whole process smoother. So psychologically, it's about comfort, trust, meeting expectations, reducing effort. Quite a combo. How does this connect to marketing theory?
Well, it's really an evolution of integrated marketing communications, or IMC.
Right, IMC. Keeping the message consistent.
Exactly. But IMC used to be mostly about the message across ads, PR, etc. Now, in the omnichannel world, it's expanded. It's about the entire experience being a continuous, unified conversation.
So not just saying the same thing, but feeling like the same brand everywhere.
Precisely. Then you have dynamic capability theory. Think of a strong tree that can bend in the wind.
Okay.
Brands that can adapt to changes the wind while keeping their core identity strong. The trunk, they gain a competitive edge. It's about being flexible within a consistent framework.
Adapting without losing who you are. That sounds tricky but important.
It is. And customer engagement frameworks also stress this. A consistent brand personality, same voice, same values across channels, builds deeper connections. It creates emotional ties.
It makes sense. You feel like you know the brand.
And finally, brand equity, that sort of intangible value your brand holds. It builds way more effectively with consistent positive interactions. Each good experience adds to that positive perception.
It all feels very linked. Consistency builds trust, trust builds equity, equity drives engagement. A virtuous cycle. What about other fields, like IT or service design? How do they view consistency?
Great question, because it shows how broad this is. Information systems research really highlights integrated data.
Okay, data integration.
Yeah, having that unified view of the customer across channels is what allows for personalization with inconsistency, recognizing someone on the app because they just bought something in store, for instance.
So technology is the enabler for that seamless feel.
Definitely. Service design focuses on the whole journey, not just isolated touch points, mapping it out, making sure transitions are smooth.
Seeing the bigger picture.
Exactly. Operations management brings in standardized processes. Think consistent delivery times or service levels, even if the channel differs. With room for customization, of course.
Right, baseline standards.
And organizational behavior points to breaking down silos. Marketing, sales, service, IT, they all need to be aligned, working together for that consistent experience.
Yeah.
It requires collaboration.
Wow, okay. It really does touch every part of the business. So if a business wants to manage this, the article breaks consistency down into dimensions, right?
Yeah.
What are the key areas to focus on?
Yeah, it outlines 4 main ones: content and messaging, visual and design, customer experience, and operational consistency.
Okay, let's start with content and messaging. What does that cover?
This is about having one brand voice. Are you playful, professional, authoritative? That voice needs to come through everywhere.
Like on Twitter versus an email newsletter.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
format changes, the length changes, but the core message, the tone, the brand promise that needs to feel aligned, and crucially, information accuracy.
Oh, yeah, that's got to be spot on.
Absolutely. Pricing, product details, contact info, it has to be correct and synchronized everywhere. Nothing kills trust faster than conflicting information.
Definitely. Okay, what about the look and feel, visual and design?
This is super important for instant recognition. Consistent logo use, color palettes, typography, the style of images.
The visual identity.
Right. And it extends to digital interfaces, too. Similar navigation patterns, button styles, layouts on your website and app make them feel familiar, easier to use.
So users don't have to relearn everything on each platform.
Exactly. And it even includes physical spaces, stores, trade show booths. They should visually connect to the digital side. Even product packaging needs to be consistent across different places you might buy it.
So from the website favicon to the store layout to the box it comes in,
Yeah.
it all feels like one brand. Makes sense. What about the actual customer experience dimension?
This is about the flow of the journey. Can a customer start something on mobile and finish it on desktop, like that shopping cart example?
Yeah, picking up where you left off.
Or if you start a chat online, does the phone agent know about it if you call later? That continuity is key.
Avoiding starting over.
Right. Standardized service levels are part of this too. Great service in one place shouldn't be ruined by bad service elsewhere, and consistent recognition using customer data to personalize appropriately wherever they interact.
Feeling known and valued consistently.
Exactly. And evoking a consistent emotional experience. Does the brand feel trustworthy, exciting, helpful? That feeling should persist across channels.
Okay, so making the journey fluid and making the customer feel recognized. Lastly, operational consistency. What's that about?
This is the behind-the-scenes stuff that makes it all work smoothly. Things like aligned pricing and promotions.
Ah, yes. Seeing different prices for the same item in different places is maddening.
Totally. Consistent and accurate inventory visibility is huge, too. Knowing if something is actually in stock before you try to buy it.
Crucial.
Coherent payment processes, integrated fulfillment like buy online, pick up in-store options working seamlessly. It's the operational backbone supporting the experience.
Got it. The fundamentals have to be solid and unified. Okay, this all makes sense in principle, but how does a business actually do this? Implement it strategically?
Yeah, the how is the big challenge. The article points to several key areas, starting with organizational structure.
Breaking down those silos we mentioned.
Exactly. You often need cross-functional teams, marketing, sales, service, IT, operations working together, maybe even a dedicated omnichannel team or coordinator.
Someone driving the overall consistency.
Right. And decision-making needs to balance that overall consistency with necessary channel-specific flexibility. You can't have a rigid one-size-fits-all approach for every single detail.
Finding that balance.
And employee training is absolutely critical. Everyone needs to understand why consistency matters and how their job fits into that bigger picture.
So fostering collaboration and shared understanding, what about the tech side?
Technology is foundational. You really need that unified customer view, often through a customer data platform, a CDP.
To see the customer across all touch points.
Yes.
Yeah.
Content management systems need to support omnichannel publishing, create content once, adapt and distribute easily. Integrated inventory management for that real-time accuracy we talked about.
Right.
And analytics tools that can actually measure those cross-channel journeys, not just look at channels in isolation.
So the tech needs to connect everything: data, content, inventory, analytics. What about the content strategy itself?
A modular approach often works well. Create core content blocks, key messages, info that can be easily adapted for different formats while staying consistent.
Like building blocks you can rearrange.
Sort of, yeah. You also need clear content governance, who approves what, workflows to keep things consistent and efficient. Omnichannel content calendars help plan themes holistically.
Planning across channels, not just for one at a time.
Exactly. And while you definitely optimize content for each specific channel, it has to stay within the defined brand guidelines.
Optimization within boundaries.
Makes sense.
The article also mentioned change management. Why is that so crucial here?
Because shifting to really be omnichannel often requires big cultural changes. You need to cultivate an omnichannel first mindset throughout the company.
Getting everyone on board.
Yeah, overcoming old habits, breaking down those departmental walls. It often requires incentivizing cross-channel collaboration, aligning performance metrics with overall consistency goals, not just channel-specific ones.
Changing how people are measured and rewarded.
Can be very effective. And crucially, remembering this isn't a one-off project. It's a long-term commitment, a continuous improvement journey.
So it's a deep shift in thinking and operating. Okay, so you've put in the effort, you're implementing changes. How do you know if it's actually working? How do you measure this stuff?
Good question. Measurement is key. The article suggests several KPIs. You can directly ask customers about consistency through surveys.
Get their perception.
Right. You can track cross-channel journey. Completion rates are people dropping off when they switch channels. That could signal an inconsistency problem.
Looking at behavior.
Measure channel transition efficiency. How easy is it to move? And correlate consistency scores with loyalty metrics like retention and repeat purchases. Does better consistency lead to stickier customers?
So combining perception and behavior data, what about analytics frameworks?
You need to move beyond last touch attribution. Multi-touch attribution models give a better picture of how all channels contribute to the journey.
Seeing the whole path.
Exactly. Customer experience mapping is great for visually spotting consistency gaps. A/B testing can help optimize specific consistency elements, maybe test different ways to present information across platforms.
Experimenting to find what works best.
Yeah. And sentiment analysis across touchpoints can show if customer feelings vary significantly by channel, highlighting potential issues.
Okay, so a multi-layered analytics approach, and then using that data for continuous improvement.
Absolutely. Set up feedback loops, focus specifically on consistency problems. Use an agile approach test. Learn, iterate quickly, benchmark against others in your industry,
See how you stack up.
and conduct regular consistency audits. Proactively check all your channels to find and fix issues before they become major problems for customers.
An ongoing cycle. Measure, analyze, refine, repeat. Got it. The article also gives some industry examples, right? How does this play out differently?
Yeah, briefly. In retail and e-commerce, there's a big focus on phygital blending, physical and digital.
Phygital, like using an app in store.
Exactly. Or consistent product info and inventory pricing sync, think Target or Walmart. Loyalty programs like Sephora's Beauty Insider are great examples of working seamlessly online and offline.
Okay. What about finance or travel?
Financial services rely heavily on trust, so consistency and security, account info, and moving between self-service and assisted service is crucial.
High stakes there.
Definitely. Travel and hospitality focus on the whole journey, consistency booking, on-location, loyalty programs like Marriott Bonvoy. Even consistent crisis communication is vital.
Right, keeping everyone informed the same way. And B2B.
In B2B, it's often about sales and marketing alignment, consistent messaging throughout a long buying cycle, integrating customer portals with account managers, consistent content like white papers and case studies.
Building credibility consistently. Okay, interesting how the core idea applies everywhere. What about the future? Any emerging trends?
Things are definitely evolving. AI and machine learning will likely enable more adaptive consistency personalization that still feels on brand.
AI tailoring experiences within guardrails.
Kind of, yeah. Voice interfaces are growing, so consistency between voice and visual experiences will be key. AR and VR offer new channels to integrate consistently.
Wow, like IKEA's place furniture app.
Exactly. Even IoT devices become touchpoints. Balancing data privacy with personalization is a big one too, using zero-party data transparently. And for global brands, managing cross-border and cultural consistency remains a challenge.
Lots to think about. Finally, what are the big roadblocks, the challenges businesses face?
Resources are often a big one. Budget, staffing for the tech and integration needed.
It sounds expensive.
It can be. There's also that tension. Optimizing for a specific channel versus overall consistency, and just keeping up with the pace of new channels and tech.
Always playing catch up.
Sometimes feels like it. Internally, legacy systems are often a barrier. Organizational culture, resistance to change, misaligned incentives, lack of leadership buy-in, those can really derail efforts.
So internal hurdles can be just as significant as external ones?
Absolutely. It requires real commitment from the top down and across the organization.
Okay. Well, this has been incredibly insightful, a real deep dive into why consistency is so fundamental in omnichannel. Let's maybe try and summarize the main takeaways.
Sure. I think the big one is just how crucial that consistency principle is. It's not optional anymore if you want to build trust, drive loyalty, and ultimately boost sales.
Right. It's about creating that seamless, predictable, reliable experience for the customer no matter how or where they interact with you.
Exactly. It's about making the entire journey feel like it's coming from one coherent, trustworthy brand.
Okay, and as we wrap up, here's a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. Think about your own business, your own customer journey. What's the single biggest point of inconsistency right now? And then consider, what would be the real impact on customer perception, on your bottom line, if you could actually fix that one thing? Make it consistent.
That's a powerful question. And remember, this deep dive was powered by Growth Suite. Growth Suite helps you to run smart discount campaigns on your store. Test it for free on your Shopify store. Just land on the Shopify App Store now and test it for free.